he announced to The Athletic, Mitch Sherman, our colleague and friend, was out in Arizona, did a great rundown and feature on Dylan Raiola and Dominic Raiola. And they confirmed to Mitch that they're coming to Nebraska on March 25th. They're going to visit Georgia on March 18th. They were at USC right before the dead period started on 2 weekends ago. So those appear to be the three teams really in the race right now. Doesn't it feel like Michigan or TCU is up there at this point?
Oregon. What about Oregon?
Oregon, maybe. But man, the Pac-12, just the future of that league is really, I think, a detriment to saying Oregon right now, because what is the Pac-12 going to be?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, it's a good point, Sean. I think you're exactly right about the teams. USC 3 months ago or 2 months ago, I wouldn't have had them in the hunt. They've made the most recent push, Lincoln Riley and USC. But I mean, Nebraska, as we know, is squarely in it. I don't know who'd be the favorite. I'm still sticking with Nebraska's got a 50% chance. I've gotten some pushback from some people on that, but in that they think it's too high. But I'm sticking with 50% chance.
Georgia, too, made a new 2024 QB offer this week. Mm-hmm. And I was talking to a couple of people tied to Georgia, and they said that Georgia is potentially looking at taking 2 quarterbacks this year.
Isn't that why Raiola left Ohio State? Because they kept recruiting quarterbacks?
I think it was – I don't think they liked the way Ohio State was recruiting him. It might have been – I mean, maybe it's tied to that. Hard to know exactly why.
Are any of those other schools going to prioritize Dylan Raiola like Nebraska will?
Oh, USC will for sure, and Georgia.
Well, I don't know. Will US? I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like USC, I don't know.
He's the number 1 overall player in the country.
I get it, but they have Lincoln Riley, who basically just give him a quarterback, they're going to win the Heisman. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just. It's just
I
a
get
question.
where Rob's
just a question I'm throwing out.
I'd have to look at what else.
Whereas he's a legacy guy here, and like he's all fans are talking about. Like, I don't know. I just don't know if like the love he's going to get from Nebraska
no doubt.
compares to where anywhere else he's considering. Yeah,
to anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, really, seriously.
I mean, somebody asked on the thread, what would the reaction be if he committed? And I found a GIF of like the Super Bowl parade in St. Louis.
Right. Now, and I don't mind saying this on the
air. That's what it'd be like.
Yeah, and I would say that would be a little uncomfortable. I mean, I'll be a little uncomfortable with the whole thing. It's so much for that kid. I mean,
a lot of pressure.
I know.
Remember how uncomfortable the Keyshawn Johnson Jebbia year was in Bookie?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't. There's just no way around it, though. I mean, there's really no way around it. If he commits to Nebraska, it will be like Nebraska's already won a national championship.
Yeah. I mean, part of it is kind of their own doing with the way they've gone about this recruitment. With his dad doing as many interviews and media tours as he's doing. So I mean, like, I don't think that they're like shying away from that attention. I think there's probably an element that they enjoy about that, and which is not just them. That's pretty standard. I mean, with high-level recruits.
Dom hasn't done a ton of media interviews. I mean, I think they're really good at just talking to like the 3 national writers from the major recruiting services just to keep them updated,
which is good.
And us, and then us, and then Mitch went out there though. Mitch went out to Scott. I mean, so if you go to Scottsdale, they're going to give you
sure.
But I don't know. The other story with him is he switched high schools, so he'll be at his 3rd high school in 3 years. He went from Chandler to now Pinnacle, and before he played at Burleson in Texas. So 3 high schools, 3 years, and he'll be done at Pinnacle in December. And Pinnacle is the same high school that Spencer Rattler came from, which is who Marcus Satterfield coached last year at South Carolina.
And we're not expecting a spring commitment at this point, are we?
The feel I have now is like it could go into June. Like there could be the sentiment I'm hearing today is there could be another round of visits in June.
Okay.
Like officials. So like
makes sense.
There's kind of like the pre-party and then the official visits will be in June.
Makes sense.
And very few quarterbacks can wait that long because the quarterback's the number 1, like Nebraska, that will be a tough position because if they don't get him
in the spring,
and let's say, and Daniel Kalen from Bellevue West, they could easily probably get him if they wanted to. But Daniel Kalen's going to be committed somewhere in the next month or 2.
It gets dicey, doesn't it? It gets dicey.
Do you think the other schools involved are going to be willing to wait it out? I mean, Georgia's already offering other quarterbacks.
Yes.
Is USC just going to sit and wait for
I don't
Dylan
know.
to go through another round of visits?
I don't know, and I apologize for this. I don't know what else USC has. Are they recruiting somebody else for 2024? What do they got in 20? I mean, what are they?
I can't
looking at?
speak authority.
No.
But I just know when you're the number one player, just like you would be in basketball, you can call the shots. Like,
Yes, yeah.
you can call the shots. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think you could decide to commit a minute
Yeah,
before
they'll
signing.
make room for you.
They figure it out. But yeah, the reaction of the other players in your program is what you wonder about.
Mhm.